Have you ever carried secrets so heavy that they burned a hole in your soul, but you still kept silent? I did. And the strange thing? I didn't realize the damage it would cause until it was too late. There are some things in life we believe will always have time for, apologies we think we can give tomorrow, truths we assume can wait, and emotions we tuck away, hoping they'll fade. But life has a cruel way of speeding up when we least expect it. In this video, I'm opening up. I'm sharing the 7 things I never told my family. Not because I didn't want to, but because I was scared, ashamed, or just waiting for the right time. But that time never came. And if you've ever held something in that you wish you said earlier, you're not alone. So stay with me until the very end, because the last thing I reveal might just change the way you speak to the people you love. Backhand index pointing right. And if this story resonates with you at any point, please hit that subscribe button, like, and leave a comment. Let's keep this conversation alive before it's too late for someone else. 1. I was struggling with depression. I laughed at family gatherings. I posed for selfies, smiled in photos, and even cracked jokes that made everyone believe I was okay. On the outside, I was the life of the party, always showing up, always smiling. But inside, I was sinking. It felt like I was standing in a crowded room, screaming for help, but no one could hear me. The weight of expectations sat heavy on my shoulders. I was supposed to have it all figured out, to be the strong one, the reliable one, the one who always had advice and encouragement for everyone else. But I was falling apart. At night, I would lie in bed, staring at the ceiling, consumed by anxiety and numbness at the same time. I cried silently, hoping no one would hear. I told myself, "You're just tired. It'll pass." But it didn't. It stayed. And it grew. I didn't tell my family, not because I didn't trust them, but because I didn't want to be a burden. I thought asking for help would make me look weak. I believed I had to keep it all together. For them, for me, for appearances. Looking back now, I wish I had reached out. I wish I had said, "I'm not okay." I wish they had seen the signs, the change in my energy, the sudden silence, the fake laughs. But how could they, when I wore my mask so perfectly? Sometimes, it's not the loudest cries that need attention. It's the silent ones hidden behind the brightest smiles. 2. I admired my father more than I ever said. My father wasn't the kind of man who expressed emotion freely. He was a quiet force, disciplined, steady, and deeply principled. He woke up early, worked long hours, and never complained. His silence was his language, and his actions were his love letters. To the outside world, and even to us, his children, he might have seemed distant, maybe even cold. But I saw more. I watched him carry the weight of our family without ever asking for applause. I watched him repair what was broken, give when he had little, and stand tall when life tried to break him down. He never once said, "I'm doing this for you." He didn't have to. I knew. The truth is, everything I know about perseverance, about showing up even when it's hard, about being a provider, I learned by simply watching him. But I never told him. I never said, "Dad, I admire you. You are the reason I am who I am today." I assumed he already knew that maybe fathers didn't need to hear that sort of thing. But I was wrong. He passed away before I ever found the courage to say it out loud. Now, there are nights when I sit in silence, just staring at his old photo, and I whisper the words I should have said so long ago. "I'm proud of you, Dad. I love you. I hope you knew that." I just wish I had said it when he was still here to hear it. 3. I forgave my mother long ago. Growing up, my mother and I clashed more often than we connected. We argued over choices, values, even the smallest things. Our words could cut deep, and for a while it felt like love had turned into resentment. There were days when the silence between us spoke louder than anything we could have said. I saw her as controlling, distant, maybe even unfair. But time has a way of softening sharp edges. As I grew older, I began to see the truth behind her tough exterior. She wasn't cold. She was tired. She wasn't harsh. She was hurting. And every sacrifice she made, every rule she enforced, came from a place of deep, overwhelming love. It took years, but I finally understood her. I realized she was doing the best she could with what she had, with what she knew. And in my heart, I forgave her, not just for the words, but for the silence, for the moment she couldn't show up the way I needed her to. But here's the part that still haunts me. I never told her. Not once did I say, "Mom, I forgive you. I understand now." I assumed the tension would melt over time, that love would quietly replace the distance. But forgiveness left unspoken is like a letter never mailed. It never reaches the one who needs it most. Now, I wonder how much peace she could have found if only I had said the words she may have been waiting her whole life to hear. For I was scared of disappointing you. To my siblings, cousins, and even distant relatives, I was a strong one, the dependable one, the fixer, the one who always had the answers, always showed up, always seemed to have it all together. But behind that role was a quiet fear I could never shake, the fear of letting you down. I was terrified if I ever failed, even once, I would lose the respect and trust everyone placed in me. So I wore the mask. I smiled through the pressure. I forced myself to keep up an image that wasn't always true. I stayed in jobs that drained the life out of me, careers that looked good on paper, but made me feel dead inside. I stayed in relationships where I felt unseen, unheard, just to prove that I was stable, responsible, normal. There were moments when I wanted to scream, to walk away from everything and start over, but I didn't, because I thought disappointing you would mean losing your love. But here's what I realize now. You never needed me to be perfect. You just needed me to be honest. If only I had opened up about how overwhelmed I felt. If only I had believed you could love me even in my brokenness. Maybe I wouldn't have wasted so many years living a life that wasn't truly mine. We often forget that love isn't earned by perfection. It's proven in truth. And I wish I had trusted your love enough to show you my flaws. 5. I needed help, but didn't know how to ask. There were nights when the weight on my chest felt unbearable. Nights when I sat alone in the dark, tears silently falling, afraid of tomorrow and ashamed of today. Bills kept piling up. My mind raced with fears I couldn't quiet. Anxiety would grip me in the most unexpected moments. At the grocery store, in traffic, even while laughing with friends. And through it all, I wore a smile because that's what everyone expected from me. Inside, I was breaking, but I didn't know how to say it out loud. How do you explain a storm when everyone sees sunshine around you? How do you say, "I'm not okay," when you built your identity around being the one who is okay? I waited for someone to notice, for someone to look past my busy schedule and polite replies and ask, "Are you really all right?" But pride is a powerful thing. It kept me silent, afraid that asking for help would make me look weak. So I suffered in silence. And no one offered, because from the outside, I seemed fine, productive, strong. They didn't know that strength was costing me everything. Now I look back and realize, it's not weakness to ask for help. It's wisdom. I needed support, but I didn't know how to say the words. And sometimes that silence is what hurts the most, not because people didn't care, but because they simply didn't know. 6. I was proud of my younger brother. My younger brother was different. He didn't follow the traditional path, the kind with degrees, corporate jobs, or carefully mapped out plans. Instead, he chased passion, music, art, travel, ideas that seemed wild to the rest of us. He followed his gut more than logic, and he never apologized for it. And me? I judge him, silently but harshly. While I was busy ticking boxes, meeting expectations, and living what looked like a stable life, he was taking risks, chasing dreams, and doing the things I never had the courage to try. I told myself he was being reckless, irresponsible even. But the truth? I admired him. Deeply, I envied his freedom, his bravery, his refusal to live by anyone else's rules. He lived out loud while I lived in a well-decorated cage. I was proud of him more than he ever knew, but I never said it. When he told me he was moving to another country, I nodded and wished him well, but I didn't say what mattered. I didn't say, "I respect you. I believe in you. I'm proud to call you my brother." Now the distance has grown, not just physically, but emotionally. The calls became fewer, the conversations shorter. And I wonder if I had just spoken from the heart, would we still be close? Sometimes, the words we don't say build the walls we never meant to create. 7. I loved all of them more than I ever showed. I always thought they knew, that my love was obvious, that it didn't need to be said out loud. The hugs were brief, almost routine. The calls? Occasional. Birthdays, holidays, a random check-in every now and then. I was present, but not deeply connected. Still, in my heart, the love was always there. Fierce, unshakable, quiet. But here's the truth. I never really said it. Not the way I should have. Not the way they deserved to hear it. I assumed they understood. That being family was enough. That actions would speak louder than words. But silence, it can be misunderstood. Now I find myself staring at old photos, writing texts I'll never send, having conversations in my mind that should have happened in real life. I replay moments, meals, car rides, lazy afternoons, thinking, why not just say it? If I could go back, I'd say it every single day. I love you. I'm thankful for you. I'm glad you're here. Because life has taught me something painful but true. People don't always know what's in your heart, unless you tell them. Silence doesn't protect love. And some words, the important ones, shouldn't be delayed. We think we have time, until we don't. If you're watching this, there's probably something you've been holding in, too. Maybe it's a simple, I'm sorry. Maybe it's a hard, I need help. Maybe it's, I love you, to someone who hasn't heard it in far too long. Whatever it is, say it. Don't wait. Don't assume they know. Life doesn't always give second chances. Sometimes all we have is today. Green circle, so if this video spoke to you, even in a small way, please take a moment to right arrow subscribe to this channel. We share real stories, honest truths, and powerful life lessons every week. Right arrow like this video. It helps it reach more people who might need to hear this today. Right arrow comment below. What is one thing you've never told your family, but wish you had? Let's create a space where we learn from each other before it's too late. You don't have to carry it alone anymore. Thank you for watching, and don't forget, the most important words are often the ones we've never said.